In this video, we will be talking about how to find a decision variable in linear programming. We are students from the Universidad Autónoma de Tamaulipas studying our bachelor's degree in commercialization. The names of the team members are Limas, Virllinia, Matías, Hernández, Magaly, Rodríguez, Olvera, Sara, Gabriela, Sánchez, Nava, Brianna, Santos, Sarmiento, Isaí, y Sosa, Valtierra, Gabriela. Before we jump into the next part of the video, I just want to let you know that the main topic is how to find a decision variable, but before that, we will talk about the definition of variable, the types of variable, and then we're going to teach you how to find a decision variable. And last but not least, we will show you 3 examples where we find it.
What is a variable? A variable is an alphabet or term that represents an unknown numbers or unknown value or unknown quantity. In other words, a variable is something that we don't know and also is susceptible to be changed or modified by some sort of reason. In linear programming, a variable is called decision variable and can be arranged in a mathematical equation to give us the objective function. For example, the probability of rain in a city, the numbers of subscribers in a YouTube channel, or the motivation of a person to play or not play a video game.
Types of variables. Research often manipulates or measures independent and dependent variables in a study to test cause and effect relationships. The independent variable is the cause its value is independent of observable in your study. The dependent variable is the effect its value dependence of change in the independent variable. Example: independent and dependent variables. Using a study to test whether changes in room temperature have an effect on main test scores. Your independent variable is the temperature of the room. You vary the room temperature by making it cooler for half the participants and warmer for the other half. Your dependent variable is main test scores. You measure the main skill of all participants using a standardized test and check whether they differ based on room temperature.
How to identify a variable. In a linear programming, the variables are a set of quantities to be determined for solving the problem. The problem is solved when the best values of the variables have been identified. The variables are sometimes called decision variables because the problem is to decide what value each variable should take. So, usually, the variables represent the amount of a resource to use or the level of some activity. In order to identify them, we have to analyze the problem, find out what things we still cannot measure or quantify, and based on that, determine our variables. This makes it easier to use programs such as Olvera to find optimal solutions. Another feature to identify the variable is that they are usually those that we are seeking to maximize or minimize. Regularly, one of the hardest and most crucial steps in formulating a problem as a linear programming is to define the variables of the problem. I'll give you some examples. For example, this value may be the expected net present value of a project or a forest property, or it may be the cost of a project. It could also be the amount of good produced or the expected number of visitors days at park. So, in this way, we can identify the variables.
Hi, I'm going to explain the next example of identifying the variable. The box construction company is considering 6 possible projects in next 4 years. This company can start any of the projects, in part or totally. The partial execution of the project will proportionally prorate the performance of the cash disbursements. The present cost of the value and disbursement of the cash for the projects will be shown on the next table of contents. In the linear programs, the variables are the set of quantities to be determined for the solving of a problem. Usually, the variables represent amount of the research to use a level of some activity. Like in the case of Bob's construction company, in this case, we have 6 projects. Then we will use these projects as the variables.
Second example. The Jumex company produces 3 types of juice using pineapple juice and peach juice. The Jumex company has booked 1,000 liters of pineapple juice and 2,000 of peach juice. The liters of juice required to make each drink are given in the following table. Therefore, we can say that there are 3 variables which are grade 1, 2, and 3.
For example, a company is going to do a sale for school supplies at the beginning of the academic year. They are offering 600 notebooks, 500 folders, and 400 pencils, but they're going to be doing 2 different ways to pack those supplies. The first package would have 2 notebooks, 1 folder, and 2 pencils, and it would cost $6.50. The second package will have 3 notebooks, 1 folder, and 1 pencil, and the price for it will be $7. How many packages of each one should the company do in order to maximize the benefits? In this case, we can identify the decision variable in the question itself because it's asking something that we don't know, like the number of packages that the company should do for each kind of combination. In the problem are 2 variables, which are x1, that equals the number of packages to do following the first combination, and x2, that equals the number of packages to do following the second combination. These variables are dependent from the material that the company has in storage, so the material will be the independent variable and the number of packages will be the dependent variable.